Today we're trying something a little different. This time, just gonna riff over the time lapse. Not even gonna talk about the time lapse. We're just riffing. So we'll see how it goes. Now shrink me down. Need to watch some YouTube to get fired up. Get annoyed by things. I was losing a lot of steam by the time I started working on Daisy and Luigi. I was like, oh, Mario and Fitz, that sounds kind of fun. And then I finished Mario and Peach, and I was like, that seems like enough. And I was like, fuck, I'd already started the other two. I was already planning on doing these. At least I don't have to come up with a new concept, so. But these really felt like a drag just because I didn't like either of the poses. I just didn't like anything as I was going. But I don't know, I ended up getting it to a place that I thought was acceptable. And it's not about perfection anyway. We're trying to pull the perfection worm out and snip it. Just post something, you know? Just make something. Realize how hard it is to make stuff. Haven't made stuff for myself in a really long time, especially doing any drawings, like complete finished drawings, paintings, whatever you want to call them. They're not really a painting. It's certainly more of an illustration. What even is an illustration? Illustration is a decoration, interpretation, or visual explanation of a text, concept, or process designed for integration in print and digitally published media. That is not... Again, I just thought it was like a smart guy way to say drawing. Which, ironically, is very dumb guy. Although lately I've been trying to focus less on, like, being and more about doing. I watched a video. I watched that Foldable Ideas video about James Rolfe, and there was actually some shockingly good comments under that video. It was a pretty good video. I don't know how I feel about foldable ideas in general, but the videos I've seen from him are topics that I was interested in, so I liked the videos. I thought they were well put together and researched. Anyway, they talked a lot about how, like, this comment was talking about how, like, James Rolfe seemed to be obsessed with being a filmmaker and not making films, which I thought was interesting because that's, like, kind of how I've been thinking about things for a while now, where it's like, oh, I want to be an artist, not that I want to make art. I often don't feel like I am making art because, like, drawing Mario characters in Zoomer Fits, like, doesn't strike me as art. I mean, I guess it is in a broad sense, but it's, you know, it's more just like drawing, doodling. It's more than a doodle, but, you know, but I've been trying to shift my mindset over a little bit from being to doing. Like, if I want to be an artist, or I shouldn't want to be an artist, I should want to make art, you know what I mean? Because it's in the process where all this stuff matters, and not in the I don't know where I was going with that, but it's in the process. That much I know. Kind of vibes with what I've seen with, like, J-Reg, I don't know how you say his name, Greg Guevara. He's pretty good. I like his philosophy towards art. He's like one of the few artists online that I think is actually smart and has interesting ideas about art and what it means, and how to think about it and how to make it social, which I think is super interesting because I think a lot of artists and content creators, maybe a bit of an oxymoron, I think they kind of miss that. A lot of them miss that, and they focus on this sort of, like, singular pursuit of a monad, you know what I mean? And not like a social being that can make art with other social beings, and in collaborating and talking and being with each other can, like, make art that is meaningful. Again, we're a little bit far from that, but it's a cool idea. I like the way he thinks about art. Check out Dreg. If that interests you, and somehow you don't know who that is, but you're watching this and don't know what happened there, but sorry for your loss. Truly sorry for your lots. But yeah, I like Dreg. I like the way he thinks about art. There's a few artists, art content creators, I guess you could call them at a certain point, that I do like, and he's one of them. I think you could conceivably call CCK Philosophy something similar, although he's more of, you know, obviously based on the name, talks more about philosophy more broadly, but there are stuff he's made about art that I think is definitely worth watching. That video he made about Mark Fisher and post-punk, that was excellent. That got me thinking about art too. You know, it's pretty good. I have big hater energy. I'm trying to deny that part of myself. I'm trying to deny the hater part of me. Because like I was saying, it's a lot harder to do than I think people realize. It's a lot easier to sort of sit back and judge in your head and think about stuff than it is to do. Even if we're talking about criticism, like, it's one thing to like watch a video or look at someone's piece and then sort of silently judge it in your head and have all these cool, great thoughts about it. But then it's even another thing to take those thoughts and put them into writing or put them into spoken word or whatever, or actually just get them out of your head into the real world, whether that's through speaking or writing or whatever. So I've been thinking about that a lot because being a hater has gotten me nowhere. And it's humbling to try to make something. Because you realize the person you were judging is probably not as bad as you think they are. And you might not actually be able to do better than what they're making. Because if you could, then you did. Or you are. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing about abstract art that has always stuck with me. I forget who said it. Some professor I had in college was like, when people criticize sort of what you might broadly call modern art, abstract art, and they go, oh, my kid could do that. It's like, well, they didn't. So there you go. And you didn't either, you know? And I think I've been thinking about that a lot in regards to my hater energy. I've been watching like, I get recommends on my YouTube, and it's like, it's a lot of art content creators are going to keep using that phrase. And I do use that phrase because some of them seem like they want to be rather than do. And again, I'm not gonna call any of them out. Not that it matters because I'm no one, but trying to deny the hater energy. You know what I mean? It is still present, but trying to deny it because it's harder to do than it is to just sit back and think. Even just like doing this sort of off the cuff, not even talking about the drawing time-lapse thing, because I don't really know what to say about the drawing anymore at this point. It's 15, 16 minutes of it. I don't know that I could really make comments on the process itself. Even just making this is like more difficult than I would have thought. In my head, I was like, yeah, for sure, I can like fucking riff for 15 minutes easily. Then you sit here and you struggle to think of anything. These gene studies actually look pretty good. I forgot to post the studies for both of these. Maybe I should post those. I think I can only say I was struggling with this pose so many times in a time lapse before I got to switch it up. I ain't exactly a video essay, but you know, we out here rambling and riffing. Just scrapping and yelling and mixing it up. Loving every minute with this damn crew. Yeah, it's just how often can I be like, oh, making folds on a shirt. I did shirt fold studies. Gonna be doing a lot of folding studies. Gonna be doing a lot of fold studies, you know. Only so much I can comment on in that regard. Who's some other artists I like? I really like Forrest Immel. I think I've mentioned him in a different video, but I don't know that this is true for everybody, but at least for me, I can tell when someone is worth listening to, advice-wise, you know? And I think what I like about Forrest is that he clearly is a professional and knows what he's doing. That goes a long way. There's a lot of advice on the internet, and a lot of it comes from people who haven't done it. They have not walked the walk, as it were. Another reason why I kind of don't like explaining my process, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't think it would be helpful for really anybody. Whereas maybe riffing for 15 minutes, at the very least, might entertain. And hey, maybe you'll learn about a new content creator you can consume content from. I love my content. I mean, I guess if I laid into my hater energy, I might be able to make more actual content. I just want to hate so bad. But again, it's kind of hard to hate when you're coming from a place of such mediocrity. So, like, maybe get good first. Maybe we'll get good before we unleash the hater energy. And maybe by that time I won't have hater energy. Maybe the hater energy is fueled by jealousy, you know? Jealousy of time spent that I have wasted, you know? Spent a lot of my time playing video games. A lot of time playing Counter-Strike Source in high school. First video on my YouTube channel was a Counter-Strike Source video. Okay, one thing I will lean into my hater energy a little bit. There is something bizarre that happens. You could call it like content creator trickle down economics. I noticed these things, like I made a joke about the lav mic the other day, holding the lav mic instead of pinning it to your shirt. Like it's so stupid on its face, just like why the hell would you do that? It makes no sense. Anyway, stuff like that, I see that trickle down from bigger YouTubers. We can just call them YouTubers more broadly. And then you see like these smaller creators, it seems like they feel almost obliged to do something like that. Or like doing like, I don't want to get too specific because I don't want my hater energy to pierce the veil, as it were, but like you see the same shots from especially like artist content creators. It's like a bunch of B-roll of them pulling out their supplies and then lo-fi hip-hop beats over the top, and it's just like, what? Why are we doing? Why are we all doing the same thing? It's so weird. It's so fucking weird. And then, or like, yeah, like, and it trickles down. So there's like, you have like 22-year-olds like giving life advice, and it's like, bro, you haven't even lived any life. I'm 33, and I don't know that I could give you any advice. Like, it's fucking crazy. I don't know. It's just like, but it's trickled down. It seems like people are copying. Not because it's what they want to do, but it's because they've seen what other people have done that are successful, and like maybe not think about why that worked. Like if you're like an impressionable young 22-year-old and you see like, I don't know who's a good example. I don't know, just like a big YouTube artist giving like this sort of like, generally I'm going to call it like very pat and blasé advice. That's usually not super helpful. It's not very like deep. It's not very, anyway, you see a 22-year-old just like see that and they go, okay, I'm gonna copy like the shape of this without understanding what's making it successful. It's very odd. No offense to my 22-year-olds, but it's like, it's just, you don't know anything. I don't know anything. I think a lot of people who would tell you that they do know something are liars, unless they can very obviously demonstrate that they know something, you know? You got to be able to walk the walk before you can give advice. So unless you can see someone demonstrating what they're doing is correct, and you know, it's like it's actually working. And it's really easy with art because you can look at someone's art and go, yeah, that's really good. Usually, then I don't know. Don't take their advice. So I guess don't take any of my advice. A little oxymoronic, but whatever. I had to unleash the hater energy a little bit. I guess we can call this a venting session then. That'll probably do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this riffing over the time lapse. We'll see how well it works. Maybe that's all I got. Will I be able to riff next time? I don't know. But we got to experiment with new things. So peace. Pick my nose, edit that out. I don't give a fuck. Eat my boogers, put it on my butt. Lick it and sniff it. I don't give a fuck. Stupid.